if you want to start a recruiting agency with no experience, what are some things that you need to think about in terms of steps? Hello, and welcome to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can start recruiting or your recruiting business with zero experience. My name is Preston. If you're new, I've been running my own tech agency for about 8-9 years, did multiple 7 figures worth of placements. Happy to be here and provide value to you all. Appreciate it. But if you're excited to get into this, please consider supporting a fellow recruiter. Give us a like, subscribe, click that bell. Really means a lot. Let's get into it. Again, this is based on my own experience, what worked for me, what might work for me, might not work for you. If you agree or disagree, just want to share that with you to clear the air. Also just want to apologize for any spelling or grammar mistakes in advance. Let's get started. If you're new here and you're unfamiliar with my background, let's just fly through this. I started my recruiting career at a US nationwide staffing firm, joined a startup company, worked my way up from the bottom, became a top producer out of 300, built over $500,000 on my own desk with no handouts in 1 year. That's roughly around 21 to 22, 23 deals, direct placement deals. I don't remember the exact amount, but it's roughly around there. I was also able to surpass the 100K a month club as well. Then I joined an internal startup to join the corporate side to get a taste of that. Company ran out of money, basically helped staff a lot of design and engineering, marketing people there. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm entrepreneurial, I'm young, I'm hungry. I kind of know the territory, what to expect working for myself because I started my own company before. I did sales and biz dev. Let's go for it. And somehow was able to do a little over 20 placements my first year. Lo and behold, did a little over 500K my first year, about 20 plus placements, all on my desk, no VA part-time or full-time to help me. Was able to do multiple 7 figures worth of placements. Absolutely changed my life. I came into recruiting, never heard about it. Now love the industry and always excited to meet other recruiters along for the same journey, whether you've experienced like me or starting out. If you're thinking about starting a business with zero experience, can you actually do it? Well, in short, anything's possible, right? But reality, or realistically speaking, you could probably do it, but there's gonna be a ridiculously high chance of failure as it's extremely high risk. I think that when it comes to recruiting business, prior founding experience, prior sales and business development experience, or recruiting for a recruiting business would help ramp up significantly. Why? Because then you'll already be able to experience like starting a month from zero, having to be on your A game every single day, just show up, whether things go well, whether things don't go well, rejections and failures, having to work with budgets or no money at all, like all that stressful stuff. If you're able to experience that before and build that tough skin, that will certainly help you a lot. If you have no experience in that whatsoever, that's totally cool. You can still succeed and do very well. But if you're coming in ignorant saying, hey, none of that's really going to affect me, it's going to affect you big time. So I'd rather you over prepare than under prepare coming into and starting a recruiting career. You can really figure things out. You can muscle yourself and try to find clients, try to find candidates, leverage previous experience, but it can get very messy. You're going to lose a lot of money, you're going to lose a lot of resources, you're going to spend too much money on multiple platforms that are probably inefficient, different systems and things like that. And you're going to especially focus on just short-term shortcuts, burning relationships, burning bridges, and just leaving a messy trail as you kind of go through and trying to iterate over time. But in reality, right? And so this is why I say it's really helpful to ideally have prior recruiting experience. So you learn, if you like recruiting, you kind of know that the general broad strokes, how to get clients, how to get candidates, how to put things together so that it can ramp up and accelerate your success. Starting a business, of course, this is like cliche and common knowledge, but it's a huge decision. And in my opinion, you have to be smart about it. You got to have strong savings, at least 3 to 12, closer to 6 to 12 in my opinion. Be ready to experience the hardest mental, emotional, psychological ride of your life. And if you're really not serious or not willing to be serious, to make sacrifices, to make compromises or concessions, and you think that you can make a ridiculous full-time income from just minimal part-time work or just rely solely on automation and think that's a successful business, that's, in my opinion, not reality, right? You have to be willing to be all in, absorb everything, don't focus on 5 other businesses, focus on the fundamentals of recruiting and get it done right. So if you want to start a recruiting agency with no experience, what are some things that you need to think about in terms of steps? Now, number 1, do it correctly, right? Whether you're freelance, incorporating, you got to incorporate, right? To protect yourself from any legal liabilities. You got to maximize leverage tax as well. You work with an accountant, that's obviously going to cost some money. But here in America, registration of new businesses can range from $40 to $500 depending on what state that you live in. Very easy to incorporate an LLC, or depending on your projected income, maybe an S corp might be better. I'm not an accountant, better to consult an accountant or CPA for proper advice. You can also use sites like LegalZoom that will essentially cost money, but hey, they can also fast forward the process instead of using an accountant or doing things manually when it comes to registration. Once that's done, what else do you have to do? You got to think of a website. You got to come up with a website. You got to think of a corporate name. You got to have a phone number. You got to have an email address. A website, in my opinion, is absolutely crucial. What we do is we're a B2B service industry, meaning that a lot of the clients are other businesses and they will check you out 100%. And if you don't have a simple website, one that's functional, that doesn't look credible or professional, that could be a huge constraint in terms of generating new leads and new businesses. You really want to have a good website. It doesn't have to have like 10 different pages. It's got to be concise. It's got to be communicative and have a really good narrative and a good brand. A lot of affordable website builders that are available: Wix, Squarespace, GoDaddy, Webflow. I mean, there's so many out there. Just make sure you choose one that works best for you. Of course, the two most popular email services that you can use are Gmail and Microsoft Outlook. I think as of the time of the shooting, it starts at roughly $6 per year. And then with phone, you can of course have a business number, use Google Voice or things like that. If you want to be super affordable like I did in day one, use your own cell phone, right? Of course, might not be best practice, but you got to do what you got to do when you're starting out and you want to be scrappy. But some really popular phone services out there are Google Voice, Grasshopper, Phone.com, Nextiva, etc. Once you do that, you want to then figure out, you want to be like a niche business or you want to be a general business. I think there's pros and cons to both, and it's a really dynamic conversation in the recruiting industry. For a niche, you have to choose what niche that you want to specialize in and what sub-niche and what types of positions and what subtypes of positions that you want to be specialized in. For general, that basically means you want to just do multiple industries, all different types of jobs, and kind of go for it. Again, pros and cons to both. Please watch my previous videos. I'm a huge advocate for niche because in my mind that allows you to be able to work smarter, able to establish credibility stronger and faster, and also be able to work productively and decrease the chance of you burning out and spreading yourself out too thin. And again, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you check my other videos as well. But if you're kind of curious, like, hey, I want to be a niche, but I'm kind of struggling, what sort of niches I should start with? Again, I made a video about this, but you can start off with an area of pre-existing interest or knowledge. Maybe a niche that you're confident in, or that will continue to grow in demand into the future. That could be a good place to start. You don't want to choose a niche that will be dying in the next 3 to 5 years. You also want to choose a niche that has talent, that has great salaries. If the salary is 30, 40, 50K, your business model is direct placement, commissions might not be the best, right? So it's got to make sense financially as well. Now, once you do that, you got to kind of figure out your business model. There's so many out there, but the ones that I kind of want to focus on here are: number one, direct placements, also known as contingency or success model, where there's no retainer, nothing up front. And once you place somebody, then basically, how that's calculated is it's percentage of the candidate's annual salary. Depending on the industry, it ranges everywhere from 10 to 30% in terms of the percentage. You can also do a contract or freelance placements. How it's calculated here is you want to first figure out how much a company is willing to pay someone by the hour, and then how much the candidate wants to make per hour, and then you want to add a standard little markup on top of that, right? Maybe it's like 10% or 20, 30, or 40%, again, depending on your industry. Typically, you invoice the client every single week. It could be every single month. You can also partner with payment processing out there that can also offer benefits as well, but that can get complicated really, really fast. You can do a contract to hire, where basically they start off as a contractor, and then upon good success, achievable milestones, they convert into placement. And how that's calculated is you can get maybe weekly or monthly recurring revenue based on the additional margins off of the hourly, and then maybe you can get like a percentage on the back end. You can do a retained, where basically, again, this varies dramatically in terms of how people do it. You can either ask for a percentage or flat fee up front, upon interviewing, monthly, and then upon a successful placement. And the numbers wildly differ depending on your industry here. Or you can also focus on executive C-level searches, where it's similar to direct placements, maybe a higher percentage. It can also institute components of monthly retainers or upfront fee as well. You can pick and choose here. My biggest suggestion is not to go wild. You do like 5 different business models. Do one, do maybe 2 max, and just really focus on that to get into a good rhythm and cadence on getting clients, doing offers, and getting paid. And if you like it, you can tweak it. If you want to leave it, you can do a different business model, but I would rather you be focused and laser targeted than trying so many different things at the same time and spreading yourself out too thin. Once you do that, then hey, you got to find candidates, right? Finding candidates is great because you can build your first database, because when you're reaching out to clients, and you'll learn why in a bit, but it's very helpful to present candidates that you think will already match the job description for the clients. If you just cold email, cold outreach, clients without any candidates. You can still get your foot in the door, but it's not going to be as powerful as like, hey, I know what you want. We already have a candidate that can help. Again, there's so many different options, and I try to my best to make these videos applicable to recruiters across all industries, not just tech. So if you guys are in tech and you're like, why is Preston saying X, Y, and Z? That's why. I'm trying to give value to as many people as possible, but you really got to find the forums, the groups, the networking events, the platforms, the job sites that work best for your country and your industry. So again, these are a bunch that I just kind of listed down here. A lot of them can be skewed more towards tech and other industries, or here in America or the US, but you can check them out, but please do your research. Once you do that, then you want to find clients, or you can maybe find clients first, see what they're looking for, and then find candidates. Make sure you have like a good, a handful of like pitchable candidates, and then reach out to clients, right? It's really up to you on how you want to approach it, but typically starting, find some candidates, build that database, then quickly switching gears to clients is a great best practice step. Once you get candidates, you want to find clients. Again, there's so many different ways that you can do this, so many different methods that you can do it. The easiest way is to go to popular job boards, find companies that are hiring, or you can go, if you have companies in mind, you can go to their website, see, go to the career page, see what positions they're hiring for, and then just reverse engineer, try to find the decision makers through platforms out there, whether it's LinkedIn, Crunchbase, Glassdoor, etc. Something localized to your country and industry and to your geographical location, what works best for you. You got to find the companies that are hiring, find the decision makers, find the way to find their contact information using all the different plugins out there. Yeah, so you want to find the companies, find the decision makers, and then be able to find a way to contact them. Once you do that, you're utilizing a lot of different plugins and tools that I covered a lot in my videos. And again, if you have additional questions, ask me again below. But then you want to maybe try to figure out like, hey, do I need an ATS? Do I need a CRM or a database? I'm gonna make more videos about this into the future, but this is definitely a key software that you should have. And I think if you're starting off in the beginning where you don't have that much money, I get it. You got to make do. I made do with Google Docs, right? Google Sheets, Google Excel, essentially. That's what that is. Not the best, but if you're organized, you can keep track of it. It's good enough. But there's so many of them on the market with so much different functionality, but the prices per month, per user range drastically. And I get it. If you're brand new, you're a small team, you want to stay on a budget, stay lean, you have to be aware of how much that you spend. And so for myself at the beginning, I just went the Google route. Probably not the best. If I started with a proper ATS, it probably might have helped me optimize my system and flow a little bit more, but I didn't want to waste so much time in like email, phone number, website, ATS. I just want to figure out how do I make money, become profitable as fast as I can, and then I can kind of hone and optimize everything. I already knew coming in how to recruit end to end on the full desk. I wanted to get my business off the ground and then worry about stuff secondary. Yeah, that might make sense for you. That might not make sense for you. That's just how I'm wired. Here are some examples that you can check out, but there's, again, so much out there. Don't waste too much time. You want to focus on the core activities, clients, candidates, put them together, make money, repeat. Basically, high level, I hope that helps. But what are some final thoughts? Any business is possible to start with no experience. But again, prior startup, sales, biz, recruiting experience can accelerate your chances of success. A lot of the steps can be done manually and affordably or for free, but there's a great importance for you to be organized, and you have to stay on top of everything, whether it's a daily planner, time blocking, physical planner, combination of physical and digital. You have to do what you can to be just on top of interview processes and your to-do list. There is a lot more to recruiting than find a client, find a candidate, put them together, make money. You have to come in with the right mindset. This is a business after all, especially if you're serious on doing this for the long term. And do not treat this like a get-rich-quick program, because then your focus will be on the short term. You're going to burn bridges, burn relationships, and depending on your network and depending on your industry, word can spread, it can hurt your reputation and snowball. You do not want that to happen. Also, you have to be willing just to kind of come in with the right mindset, with the right pain tolerance, expectations. It's going to be painful. It's going to be scary. There'll be multiple times every day that you want to quit, but you have to be willing to go through that and stick it through. And so if you're just starting, my challenge to you is don't start this saying, I'm going to try this for a week or two, see what happens. Don't do that with even 30 days. I challenge you to do at least like 6 months, at least 12 months. I told myself, I'm going to do this 24/7, all consuming for 1 year straight. And if I can't be profitable, then okay, maybe I'll think of something else. But if I came in and I gave myself a 30-day timeline, the first week you're gonna face a lot of difficulties and immense pressure and stress and sense of urgency. And if I think 30 days is amazing if you can accomplish something there, but you do not want to give yourself an unnecessary time constraint where you just quit prematurely, right? And you don't want to have that sort of mindset with any business or really anything that you do. You want to give yourself the maximum amount of success, a probability of success, and the way to really really help is by having a longer term perspective. And if you do that, it can help just calm things down. It can help you be a little bit less aggressive in taking shortcuts and focus on the important stuff in recruiting, which is building and cultivating, maintaining strong relationships. If you are struggling finding candidates or you need more candidates to work with, again, I get it. Recruiting can be very, very scary and tough. I think a great way to stabilize the business to help you is potential partnerships, collaborations, splits. And I'm always happy and open to have ongoing relationships with other recruiters out there. If you're in similar markets or you have clients, for instance, that you're having trouble filling and you want to kind of maintain like a relationship, a split can help or partnership can help. Or if you have candidates and you want to like share with them more opportunities, a partnership can help significantly. So definitely reach out. We'd love to see if we can help and work together. If not, happy to refer you. But if you have a great network and you know founders that need help hiring, you have candidates. We also have, I think, one of the best referral programs out there as well. Always happy to pay above market for a successful introduction to a client or a candidate as well. Just here to help and provide impact as much as possible. So again, it's a win-win. I think recruiting is a phenomenal business. It's an industry really that changed my life, and I couldn't be more grateful every single day and week doing this. And I hope that I can kind of provide you some nuggets that I've learned throughout the years. If you have any other questions, let me know, but really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. Crush your goals. I can't wait to hear your success, and let's elevate recruiting together.